Hello and welcome to my podcast, Conversations with Cornelius, where I, Cornelius Patrick O'Sullivan, discuss, chat and hypothesize on all things from fatherhood, marriage, comedy and everything else in between. From time to time, there will be special guests, but mostly it's going to be me and some regular contributors, including my main squeeze, Noelle Patricia O'Sullivan, aka the wife. So sit back, relax and enjoy Conversations with Cornelius.
Welcome to Conversations with Cornelius. I am not your host today. Cornelius is back today, so
Hello.
he shall be your host.
I'm your host today, guys.
He lived the week. We were lucky to have him, but he is here and
I'm
he
back.
has survived, thankfully.
As long as I know how to live, I know I'll be alive.
Survive.
Because I got so much love to give, and I got so much something else to give. I will survive. I will survive.
Where are we, Cornelius Patrick
We're in the
O'Sullivan?
John Hume War Room. We haven't been in the John Hume War Room in quite some time.
Sounded very Cork there. We're in the John Hume War Room. Boy.
We got the fire going. It's December 16th, is it?
It's actually December
18th.
18th. I feel like my role is to correct you on the date.
Correct me. Correct me in everything.
Yeah, that's right.
December 18th, we're in the John Hume War Room.
Monday.
Santa is on his way around the world, probably doing a little bit of reconnaissance at the moment.
What's reconnaissance?
Kind of like reconnaissance is kind of like work that you do before you do a hit. Do you know what I mean? Like look out, like checking people's times, checking people's routines, checking out the topography of the area,
right, yeah,
making sure you know all the escape paths and stuff like that. So it you'd use it in war a lot. They'd call it recon in war. Do you recon? Going into an area, checking out, you know, all the buildings, all the people.
The plan beforehand, like knowing your area.
Exactly.
Right, yeah. Very
this
good.
podcast is brought to you by the Brand Geeks.
Liz, you got it right. Week 3 and you got it right.
The Brand Geeks. The Brand Geeks. You still have time to order a calendar if you want to buy a calendar. Get a calendar.
Or a calendar.
Or a calendar.
I showed the boys it today. Yesterday I showed them.
Oh, yeah.
And they loved it.
What did they like about it?
They were both counting up to see how many times they were in it each. And I was like, sweet Jesus, thank God I actually thought of that and had a look to make sure they were kind of in it similar enough.
Because if they weren't, there would be war. There
Very
would be
much
fucking
war.
I was looking at it again there. It is class because, I think you said this before, is like, you know, for example, Halloween now, they're all dressed up like they were this year in Halloween.
Yeah,
so when we turn it over in October next year, they'll be like, oh, this is what we wore last year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty cool. And you can still order. Today is only the 18th of December, lads. Get online now. Go to www.brandgeeks.ie and order your calendar. All you have to do is send them 12 photographs. So you have 12 photographs in your phone, surely be to God, of your family, of your friends, of your dog. Do one for your dog. Can you imagine having a dog calendar?
I saw a thing actually and it was Hunks and Pups, or it was, I don't know what the calendar title was, but it was like hunky men with dogs, and it was for the it was English, it was for the dogs and rescue centre
that makes
thing.
sense. That makes sense, because if there was an Irish one, they probably would have got on. And I was going to say, why didn't they get on to me?
Yeah. But I did say it was hunks and dogs.
Yeah. That's insane.
Oh yeah, I thought you misheard me or something.
Oh no, I heard you perfectly. And I was like, why didn't they get on to me? And then then you said English, and I was like, all right, okay.
Yeah, they wouldn't have flown you over. That's the only reason.
They would have looked at the logistics and they would have said, look, let's just get someone that's slightly less hunky. That's English.
More chunky.
Yeah, I like a chunkier version.
Of you.
Me.
Yeah. Okay.
I like my dog.
Okay.
But I don't think I love my dog the way other people love their dogs.
Yeah.
And I thought I would.
Oh, I think that's just because he's still a puppy.
He's annoying the shit. No, I will say I'm extremely irritable at the moment.
Really?
I am extremely irritable the last...
Frightened to speak.
The last, last week. You can't say you're frightened to speak, Noelle, because I'll hit you if you say it.
Well, that is one way you would come back and you'd be fairly lively back in your box, fine. It's a war of words.
But you know what I mean? Like, I do like Baxter, but like, I think the idea of, I can see how people give back dogs. And like, after Christmas. No, I'm not saying we'll ever get back
No,
bags.
we
Right?
won't.
I do really, really.
I don't think you do
fuck.
yourself any favors, because you give him food. You give him food when you're making food.
Yeah.
You give him a treat to get him out every time.
Yeah.
Like he is such a really clever dog.
He is.
Is a product of your behavior as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, as in, he hops. No wonder he hops around you when he's eating, because you give him food off the counter. Like,
Yeah. Well, he's hungry, I suppose. But like,
sure, he's always hungry for human food. Do you know?
Yeah,
He
and
could-
you're not allowed to give them human food as well. That's the other thing that I'm after finding out. You can't give dogs human food.
Well, you can, like, a little bit, but
You're
they
not
much
supposed
prefer it.
Yeah. Like, if they much prefer human food, why are we feeding them dog food? And who invented dog food? Like,
But sure, it's just like if you were being given canned any food all the time. Well, I know you do like canned beans.
I do like
so
an old
maybe
tin of beans. Although I did have 2 tins of beans there last week, and
we all suffered.
Well, there was a lot of reverberations in the house.
It was just gas, though.
It was just noise coming out of my bottom. But no, I don't. I feel bad saying I don't love him, but he just, do you know what? He annoys me sometimes. But then again, fucking everybody's annoying me at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm looking at pricks on Instagram, and they're annoying me, and I'm listening to podcasts of fucking other people, and I'm like, they're fucking annoying. And then I'm just looking at myself in the mirror, and I want to box the face off myself. Do you ever get into that kind of like?
Not really. I was in a great form this morning. The main word there was. You were in great form this morning, but I am in terrible form. I'm in terrible form. I can't get out of it. Sucked a little bit out of me, but I'll be back. I know it. It's just until I currently want to slightly maybe stab you.
Yeah. I felt your form this morning, right? I felt your good form this morning, and I was like, oh, for fuck's sake.
And it annoyed you, didn't it? Yeah.
But everything is annoying me at the moment.
Why? What's wrong with you?
I don't fucking know. That's
just a mental head. Like, as in, that's just the body, like, isn't it? It's just sometimes it's irrational and you can't actually do anything about it.
It literally is irrational. It's like, it's completely irrational because we've had a great week. We've had a great weekend.
Really great week.
We had an unbelievable weekend. Your birthday was fantastic.
Well, the day before my birthday.
My
day of the birthday, like, trying to keep the car alive was not really great.
Hell, I forgot
but
about that.
Yeah. So
but then Harvey's birthday was fantastic.
Party,
and the Christmas, then the family thing was grand as well. And like, do you know what I mean?
It was great, yeah.
We'd a lot. So do you know why I'm in bad form? Why am I in bad form? Can you fucking text me in and let me know? Email me at Connie.
What's making you in a bad form? Is there anything?
I don't fucking know. I don't know. I just am in shit form, and I don't know.
And you
why.
haven't really been drinking or anything to say that it would be an overlap. And I mean, you recovered well.
I did recover
well enough from being sick. And
this day last week, I was on the way out, and I managed to do all my gigs. Yeah. I think it is. Do you know what it is as well? Like, and I mean, I'm only speculating now. I think it is. I am not used to being busy.
Right. Yeah.
As long as you know me, I've always worked on my own kind of to the plot of my to the beat of my own drum at my own pace.
Yeah.
And I'm not used to being as busy. Like,
accountable maybe as well, or
and I think there's a bit of pressure there that was never there before with me. That I'm trying to adjust to.
Yeah.
Like the financial woes are something that I like, you know me, like I was never that motivated by money or anything, but now all of a sudden the targets have to be hit or my kids go to school with no pants. Do you know that kind of way, like, you know? Christmas and there's money going out and there's money coming in, but there's money going out, and there's like, it's all new to me. It's all fucking new to me. And people might be listening going, how is this all new to you? You're fucking 46. Well, it's like, it's new as in, it's all the financial burden or woes are on me now, whereas before they were on us.
Yes.
Do you know that kind of way?
Yeah.
And I suppose the stress from that is manifesting in kind of my short temper at the moment, I can see it myself. I can actually see it in myself. I'm like, what? I need to snap out of this. Go out. I try and go do some affirmations. I'll try and go back outside and do some deep breathing. I am trying to counteract it, and I do think it's only a phase as well. By the way,
you were sick last week, and then it is Christmas,
and I was sick the week before that as well.
Yeah, you were. Yeah.
You know?
And maybe because you had to power on, and there was so much still to do, and you knew you had to do it, and you had no choice but to do it.
Like
do
like,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That it probably built up there more so because, like, you know, like whereas I'm like, we've scaled back so much for Christmas. There's a buzz in it, and we're actually going to go into January in a better place than we've gone into January in years.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know? And actually, that's one thing I think we might go in a little bit more into in the Patreon podcast, because that's what I have. I know we hadn't discussed what we're going to talk on the Patreon. But I think we'll go a little bit more into that, because it's really interesting to be on the other side of it a bit. Do you know? As in, like, always we've spent what we wanted at Christmas, and we've always had a great time at Christmas, and we're still going to have a really good time at this Christmas.
Do you feel we're not? I feel we're fucking spending just as the same.
But you're just watching it going out.
Yeah, maybe.
I was always spending it.
Yeah.
You never saw it go in or go out. It was in my account.
I don't think we have anything less in the house though. Than
like you're saying that.
Do you know what I mean? The way you're talking is like that. We're battening down the hatches. Like,
No,
I think we have as much drink, as much food. I think the boys again.
I know,
have
but
as
you're
many
not
presents.
seeing that I've watched when the drink is on offer in SuperValu, or I've watched when it's on offer in Tesco, and I've, you know, or that I stuck to a specific budget for presents and that kind of side of the thing.
Okay.
But you're also seeing, you're way more conscious of the stuff coming in. Do you know what I mean? You're going, oh, Jesus Christ, has she gone mad now with the shopping? Like,
I've never said anything.
No, you haven't. You haven't.
Because I love you.
But your head is saying it in your own.
Sometimes
side.
my head do be saying things all right when you're doing things. But
and you have said it, but you mightn't have heard yourself saying it. That's
well,
okay. But I actually was going to talk about it on the Patreon, so continue with.
Just got a text there after an interesting party. I'll have a look at that later
intriguing. I'm intrigued now myself. I like this setup.
This is nice. Now, so we've
seat
got.
It's a bit tight for me. I'm in the wrong seat, but anyway.
We need to get you a new seat. And do you know what's fucking annoying me as well? And first of all, right, I want to say thank you
for
to you, right? Because I am not an easy person to live with.
Really?
Okay? Sometimes you're not easy either now, right? So shut up now. I'm giving you a compliment.
Oh, right. Okay.
Right? I'm not an easy person to live with. I am moody, and I'm up and I'm down, and I'm in and I'm out, and sometimes I'm the best crack in the world, and other times I'm no crack at all, and sometimes you'll walk into the room and I'm crying watching a fucking episode of fucking Peaky Blinders or whatever the fuck is on. Do you know what I mean? I'm not like, I'm a fucking. I hate when people go, I mean, we're artists, we're highly strung. But I'm definitely fucking differently strung. I should be strung up sometimes.
Sometimes, definitely.
I wouldn't mind being strung up sometimes. Sometimes I'm like, just fucking Christ almighty, string me up and get it over with. But, so, your patience is really, really good. It's really good with me, and I want to say thank you for that. Not that I'm going around the place like a moody bastard.
No, you're not most of the time, but you just have your moments, and then you'll come out of it. Like now, you're coming out of it again.
Yeah, I'm out of it now.
Back out again.
Yeah. And I think so thank you.
I think the edible is probably kicking in now a small bit as well.
Everyone's on the edibles now. I was talking to people yesterday who are on the edibles that you wouldn't expect that would be on edibles. And they're all on the edibles now. Everybody's on the edibles. But you know there's this new thing now, right? You can buy it in the shops. It's legal at the moment, right?
Right.
So the active ingredient in cannabis is called THC, and I'm not going to even...
THC, okay.
And that's an abbreviation for a real scientific, like tetrohetro, something...
But it's the THC.
The THC. But there is a variant where they've taken out the T and they've put in a H, so HHC, right? So pretty much the same as THC, but it's missing one active ingredient, but you can smoke it and you can inhale it.
So they've altered the weed to make it legal.
It's
by
a legal
taking
loop.
out the tetra, whatever it was, and adding in then a chemical.
Hydra or fucking
something.
whatever it is.
Right, yeah.
So, and I've known about this now for about 2 or 3 months, and they're in the shops. You can buy it. All the obviously comedians, nearly every comedian I know, any sound comedian actually, fucking deadly, genuinely sound comedian, smokes weed.
Really?
Now there's some sound comedians that don't smoke weed,
Yeah.
but every comedian that smokes weed that I know is fucking sound, bar none. Right?
Really?
Yeah, and there's a massive cohort of people, comics that smoke anyway, or that ingest weed. I don't know. I think it's definitely.
I can think of comedians who smoke weed that aren't sound, and I think you'll remember afterwards.
There are people that smoke weed that aren't sound.
Yeah.
You're miming. You can think of 2 people, is it?
No. There's a 2 in the name. Continue.
Oh.
Now, so?
Yeah.
That was who I was thinking of. Let's continue because we're not going to put it in here. But
No.
who is that mysterious person?
Email us in at corneliusthecomic@gmail.com. There's one exception. Sure, I suppose there's always going to be an exception to the rule. But anyway,
true.
this HHC, you can buy this now inside in all these like.
Would you be able to buy it now? Can you buy it in Cork?
You could hop into the car, drive into Mad on fucking what's the name of that street there where that you come down from?
Don't ask me.
Oh Christ, it's not.
Oliver Puncture? No,
not Main Street. Mad, big massive kind of a stoner shop inside there where you can get bongs and stuff like that. But you can go in there and buy your HHC, and it's completely legal. Skin it up, smoke it.
But you said it's far more expensive, is it?
It's more expensive, yeah. It's more expensive. But that's what's going to happen when weed is legalised anyway. It's going to be, like, people are like, I can't wait for weed to be legalised. And I can't wait for it to be legalised. But it's going to be taxed, and it's going to be, do you know what I mean? It's going to be more expensive. Because you were saying to me, yes, you should get those. And I was like, well, it's more expensive, like, and it's not.
But in in Canada and stuff, it's cheaper than what we're paying. Their edibles and all of that are cheaper than what we're paying.
Well,
illegally.
It's like this. I have to buy in bulk to get it at a reasonable price.
Right, yeah.
So if everything was legal in the morning, I would just fucking to be like just going to the shop buying.
Do you know what somebody asked me recently? How was it made? How, like, they couldn't fathom how the brownies are made, like how, like, because they didn't have any clue of what weed is. So it literally looks, when Connie hands it over to me, it's after being grounded up, and it looks like herbs, like parsley, chopped up parsley, dried stuff, from it, and you just sprinkle it on top before you cook your brownies. Yeah. But it was interesting. I made them yesterday, and I didn't have. I usually just use a packet brownies, or one of the Betty Crockers, whatever. But I did see how much sugar went into them because I made them fresh yesterday. I made them without the packet as such, because I didn't have a packet. Like, there's like nearly 300 grams of sugar in your weekly supply, like. And
the ones that you made, I had one this morning, they're way nicer.
Yeah, but there's
there less sugar in it?
No more. There's 300 grams of sugar went into that, like.
300 grams went into that.
Yeah.
Gotta find a way.
Yeah, we have to. Yeah.
Gotta find a way.
The avocado or whatever.
Because like eating a fucking 300 grams, that's me eating 300 grams of sugar every week. I have to have my weed. I have to have it for my anxiety. I have to have it for my fucking whatever.
But then it's the evils of the sugar versus. Yeah. And at least if you're having it, like, the way I look at that is, at least if you're having the sugar as a brownie, like with ice cream as your dessert. Yeah. That's one way. It's like people say to me, if I'm feeding the kids the organic whatever, or we're feeding them organic apples, cucumber or whatever, I'm like, well, at least I know, like, a cucumber is meant to be healthy. Yeah. So, like, I know that it's not falsely bad. Like, you eat a cucumber and you think you're being really healthy, but if you've got a cucumber that's covered in pesticides, you may as well be eating a bar of chocolate. You may as well be eating a bar of chocolate dipped into fucking acid. I'm loving the new system here. Yeah. How do you like it? I love it. Yeah. Do you? Yeah. So we're basically not holding our microphones. This is all down to the patrons as well. They bought us new microphones, new mufflers. Muff diving. Muff diving. And I was told actually last week, and I know you'll kill me now for going on about the sound, but I was told that someone went from our podcast onto Seth Rogen's podcast, and the sound was the same. On Seth Rogen's? As ours. Another sound stoner. Seth Rogen. I tell you now, before I die, myself and Seth
and Zach Galifianakis are going to be in a movie together.
Maybe I have the wrong person. Seth Rogen, isn't he like, what's the big podcaster fella? Isn't there a
Joe Rogan?
Joe Rogan.
Oh, right.
Sorry.
Totally different fella altogether.
Yeah, sorry. It was just when
but
you
Joe
said
Rogan would be Joe Rogan.
So he's like top podcaster,
he's
right?
the most popular podcast on the planet.
Yeah, and I got the name wrong.
Yeah, and you got it wrong. Sure, look, listen, that's why I am on this side of the table and you're on that side of the table, you know. But I am feeling I feel like I'm coming out of my fucking stump there now, alright?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
That's because the brownies kicked in.
But it wouldn't have kicked in because I only had it about 20 minutes ago. They take about 40 minutes to metabolize, babe.
Well, there's something must be metabolized that's starting to
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I just
bring you round. Sweet Jesus Almighty, it's a good day. It's good for the day. We can regroup. Oh, Jesus, aren't you very busy? Will we talk a little bit about our week?
Yeah, come on. Talk about it. Okay, I'll start. So last week when we were talking, I was actually very sick. I was.
You were.
And I was like, and I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. Like, I mean, I get sick this time every year.
Yeah.
You know, and like when I was doing the panto there for the last couple of years, I'd always get sick around this time of year. Just try and plow through it, pretend I wasn't sick, and fucking then just be dead afterwards. But what's annoyed me this year is I've really been looking after my health, as we've been talking about putting 300 grams of fucking sugar into me. But this is the way this is funny how it works, isn't it? You think you're looking after your health, but then when you analyse it afterwards, you're like, are you really?
Are you really? Yeah,
you know, you're having like as I talk to you now, I have a juice that Noelle made for me this morning, right? And it's like it's pungent. Like there's celery and lemon and cucumber and probably ginger in it as well. And I have been having those since September, since I've gone on tour. And I do feel, what I will say, and I don't know, you can back me up here or contradict me, I do feel my rebounding from, I've got sick twice since I've gone on tour, and I've rebounded very quickly.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Compared to the past, where I, like last year when I did the improv panto, I was never as sick for the last week of it, and I was so sick, I didn't get better until the middle of February. Yeah.
Well, you were sick for it, and then Christmas Day you were absolutely,
I collapsed after it
pretty much. Yeah, but the adrenaline high and everything. And you worked last year, was right up, wasn't it? It was probably
went right up into it.
I'd say it was the 23rd. Was that, or was it was the 23rd? Was that Saturday? As
I was looking at I was looking at some of the stories from the improv panto over the weekend. I just hadn't looked at them up until this weekend. And it looks like it's mighty crack as always.
As always.
They're jumping around the place. But I will say this, and it's a great show. I absolutely don't miss it.
Really, yeah.
I really don't miss it. And I thought I would.
Yeah.
I thought I would miss it a small bit, but maybe it's because I'm super busy as well. And,
yeah.
But I do think if I wasn't on tour, Chris, I'd be super busy anyway, because I'd be just inside in the Coco, doing all the Coco gigs, which we're running in conjunction anyway. For anyone who's listening out there, who's doing something, who's doing a project, and is sometimes it's nice to move away from something to freshen things up, because I really am enjoying going, like, I'm all over the country obviously with Chris, but like I am enjoying just the break from the same old, if you know what I'm saying. And that's not being derogatory or anything now to the improv, because it's brilliant. Like,
but I think as well with the improv, you were always cast as the same role. Like you were always the female. Like
I would have been a lot of the time. I would have been the this fella can be Cinderella. Here's small fat fella with a beard.
Very funny, yeah. And it was, and you did it really well. But you were also really good at the other characters, and you enjoyed when you got to be a different peripheral character as well. But a lot of the times, the audience would just pick, because you're the idea of a man who has maybe a larger tummy, and a beard. Putting on a wig and becoming Cinderella or whatever was always good.
And don't get me wrong, no, they were great. It was great. And I remember even when I was leaving, I remember saying it to Laura, the girl who was in charge of it, I said, I think Cork audiences have seen enough of me in a dress, with a blonde wig, being from the north side of Cork City. singing sweet songs about Mallow. Do you know what I mean?
You were never the best songs, like.
Well, songs were my like much and
But
all
all
as
the
I
singing.
enjoyed them. I just I was good for a chorus. The narrative of a song just bogged me down. But it's a big stage. The Cork Opera House, it's a big stage.
Brilliant,
and there's
and
like
it's
1,000
amazing to have
people.
done it.
But I was looking at one of the stories now, and they were doing the dance. We used to do a dance at the end of it and get everybody up and stuff like that. But I don't miss it. I really don't miss when, like putting away the props afterwards, driving home with the sweat fucking poured into your body, not getting home till 1:30 and being like wired till So it is a change, but I think I'm going to take more risks with stuff, because that was a big thing for me.
Yeah, it was huge. Yeah, and that was even before we knew.
Before we knew anything with
what
Chris,
the plan.
with
Chris or
with you
leaving,
or with you leaving work or anything like that.
The way it worked out, because if it had been like, maybe if I had left earlier in the year or something like that, you might have still gone ahead and done the
I think if this time last year you said to me, I'm leaving work, there's no way I would have left the improv band.
No,
unless they fired me, which might have happened as well. But
so it worked out well.
Yeah, and I just think it's an interesting. Because I was wondering, would I miss it? Would I feel? Would I have the green-eyed monster looking at people up on, looking at Dom now? Because like myself and Dom used to have this little routine where we, every night before a gig we'd fucking kind of do like our own little vocal warm-up and stuff like that, and we'd kind of be chilling backstage, and it was almost like a tradition. It was like, but what it has definitely done for me is sometimes leaving, and I'm using my own example, leaving a project, even if you've nothing lined up, just to free the clutter in the mind a small bit, can fucking be a good thing.
I think January is a time as well that people do reflect and do kind of plan out the year ahead. I
knew I was going to be doing my own show. I knew that I was going to be doing the Everyman in January when I handed in the notes, and I was like, I want to be doing more. Like, I think my mindset was, I need to be doing more stand up at that time of year, as opposed to being, because you're up there and like, don't get me wrong, no, it's fucking incredible, but nobody knows who you are. No one has a clue who you are, like, do you know what I mean? And
that was only highlighted during the year, wasn't it, when you met a couple and they were like, who he is, you go see, he's in the improv panto
you've
every
been
year.
to that, and you've been to that forever, and then and then the girl goes, oh yeah. So just interesting, but back to the week anyway. I was sick. It's a small hospital. I stayed in bed all Tuesday and Wednesday last week. First gig was Thursday above in Greystones, and then and that went great. We stayed up in Greystones. I was supposed to go for a sauna and a cold sea swim with Chris. I was just still fucking trying to get over the flu, so I just left him at it. The next day he did that, and I went to the Wonka movie. I drove to Blanchardstown, and I went to did you ever go to an IMAX cinema?
What's an IMAX cinema? Has it got the big couches and stuff like that? I went to one in Australia, actually.
Their class, so like, I mean, it's like a wall of noise, a wall of sound, and like, I had a recliner seat, like, 'cause I was thinking I might sleep during this. I was just looking for something to do to pass the time, because we woke up the next day. Chris went for the sea swim, and he was meeting his agent in Dublin for something to eat. And I was literally around until 9 o'clock. I didn't have to be into Dundalk until 8 o'clock in Dundalk, because I'm up like 9, 10 o'clock. Yeah,
it must be kind of like, well, I suppose it made complete sense, because those, I mean, how far were they from each other, those gigs?
About an hour and a half. So
but
I drove to Blanchardstown, which was it took an hour out of the journey, maybe 45 minutes out of the journey.
Oh yeah, like halfway or whatever. But like, people be saying, oh, would you not prefer to stay away all the time? But then,
no way.
But then all your time is work or passing the time. Whereas even if you came home and you get 3 hours the next day where you're not in work mode, then it's worth it. Then being all kind of passing away the day until the evening and hanging around for work and stuff.
I like I see
Combo
some
of
I
both,
see
I
some
suppose.
comedians there now, right? And they'll come to gig, and they'll have 2 pints before the gig starts, and then they'll have a pint while they're on stage, and then the gig is over, and there'll be 3 or 4 pints had, and they'll stay in an Airbnb and stuff like that, and they've pretty much drank, you know, a quarter of their fee.
Yeah.
Not to mention what they'll pay on their accommodation, not to mention then what they're going to eat when they're hungover the next day, and they might have kids and stuff like that. I want to do my gig, right? This is what I want to do. I want to go to wherever the venue is. I want to be polite and happy and fucking shaking everyone's hand, do my sound check. I want to go out and really do my best every night and entertain the people that are there, and for them to like me, and for them then maybe to transfer their liking onto my social media. And then from there potentially come and see me live again.
Yes,
you know, on one of my own shows, right? That's all I want to do. And then I want to get into my car and I want to come home to you and the boys.
Yeah.
That's the ideal scenario. Now, don't get me wrong. Every now and then, like when we went to Derry, it's lovely
you
to
have
stay away.
to stay sometimes, and it's nice sometimes.
And it is nice sometimes. But if it was the case that I had to stay away every weekend, I would not like that.
Yeah,
I would not like that. And what's really cool now, right, is about 10, 12 years ago in our like you couldn't make a living like as a tour unless you were a big
act.
You couldn't make a living as a touring comic. I think now that's changed. I think if you're hard working and if your material is decent and if you've got a good strong hour, you can start to build a base around Ireland, because people are coming out to comedy now like never before.
Right, okay.
It's a thing that, you know, when in Ireland years ago, what was it? It was the pub.
Yeah.
There might be a bit of
they're
music
looking
in the
for
pub.
something else other than they're looking for shows and events and things.
Like you played GA growing up and that was it. You'd no other options. Nowadays you can play soccer, you can go to gymnastics, you can go to karate, you can go to a stand-up comedy gig.
I suppose that as hobbies have diversed, so has entertainment, I suppose.
Exactly.
And broadened with the
Broadened
internet and all that racket.
But Thursday before I went, we had
I was wondering when we were going to get to me.
Well, we're going to get to you now in all your beauty and glory, all right? Okay, and you'll be taking it over from here on in shortly. But Thursday, your birthday was on Friday, and I was kind of coming out of it by Thursday, but I was feeling very guilty as well. I was feeling so guilty that I was going away. I swear to God now, I really was.
I didn't give a shit.
And you couldn't give a fuck. And that's what works for us, though. That is why it works for us. I think if both people are on the same page, it's actually harder. Do you know what I mean? If they're both,
if you were feeling guilty and I was like, oh, he's going to be away now, then it would be an issue.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah.
And maybe if you didn't care heading off, maybe it would have been an issue to me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
weird,
mean? Like,
but
yeah,
I get
if you were like, well, I have to work, babe, that's just, whereas me going to you.
How are you gonna fucking put the Coke into the fridge or the milk on the
yeah. Like, then I would have been like, he doesn't even give a shit about my whereas I'm able to go to you. You have to go to work, like, come on, 'tis grand.
And this brings me back to I've never had to do that before. Because even before I met you, I was like, yeah, I'll go to work today. Yeah, I won't.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because I always was in a position to be able to, like when I had the window cleaning company, I just do what I wanted when I wanted to do it.
Well, you never really needed anything. You never want anything. Until you met me, you didn't really want stuff. Like,
yeah, but I actually don't want anything now either. Like, I'm actually happy with what I have. If I have the PlayStation,
you got a new PlayStation game, like, and you have a PlayStation 5.
But that's what I'm saying to you. I have the PlayStation, and I have my family, and I have
you got your manager job PlayStation thing that came through.
I don't know. Do I like it? I don't think I got a new game. The game that we were talking about on the podcast there a few weeks ago, where I said I wasn't going to get it because I thought it might. But at least you need a lot of concentration for it, Noelle.
Yeah.
A lot of concentration, and I think I need a lot of time for it. And last night, we came back from the party, and you watched a bit of television. You went to bed early enough. You were a little tired. And,
slash lots of bubbly.
Slash locked. And I said, I'll have an hour. Go in there now and I'll play the new game. And I was in there about 2 minutes and I turned it off. I put on FIFA. Because I was like, when I'm playing FIFA, I feel like I can be Cristiano Ronaldo. Look, that's me there. Look, I'm controlling that fella there running around. look, yeah, give it, go, yeah, brilliant. Come on, pass the fucking ball over to me, will you? Do you know that kind of way? Like, I feel like I'm that guy playing. Whereas with this, I'm more kind of Jose Mourinho vibes. I don't know, I'll have to give it more of a go. But anyway,
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say to you is, I'm happy with it. I have a house, I have a lovely wife, I have lovely kids. I have FIFA. I don't really need much more.
Will I give back your Christmas presents?
No. But speaking of presents, before I left, I gave you your 40th present.
Yeah.
So what we'll do now with this podcast is that was me up as far as Thursday. We'll let you take away the rest of the week.
He's doing some really stupid, funny moves around his mic because he's getting his trills out of his mic stand. Thursday, so Connie presented me with my present, and Connie was getting a big horn, thinking that I hadn't guessed.
How dare you say that? How dare...
Thinking
Take that back.
Walk,
you gave out to me mad last week for saying the horn, and now you said the horn.
Did I?
Yeah.
On this?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Oh well.
He's got a massive horn for that. Remember I said it about Harvey or something, and you were like, you
well,
can't
that's
say that.
weird, but about the children. The childers. It's grand.
The children.
But so yeah, he was delighted with himself. But I hadn't pushed it. I hadn't done a Noel on it and quizzed you in any. I didn't test.
I thought it was brilliant actually, and then when you said that to me, I was like, oh right. Yeah.
I never because so it turned out to be. Connie got me a beautiful Chloe bag. Chloe, see by Chloe.
Designer handbag.
Plus 2 tickets to go see Rod Stewart.
Wake up, Maggie.
In Paris. In Paris.
Paris.
So
we're staying in an apartment for 3 days. I got your flights as well, girl. Tell them everyone I got your flights as well.
Goodbye. But the laugh was, during the week, like I'd been saying I must get a handbag or something, and Connie was like, you should get one. Yeah, you should get one. But like, I know if I had pushed at that moment, in hindsight, when I got the bag, if I had even said, yeah, I might, just to test the waters, I think I will. Do you know what? I have vouchers. I think I'll buy a decent handbag. Like, he would have folded within seconds. Like, I was like, you were playing a risky enough game, because I would have, if I wanted to, because it's happened in the past. Yeah. I have figured out lots of my presents just by chancing the waters of even if I think it, I'll just put a little feeler out there, and it goes back to when you first said I love you, and we were only together a few months, and I said to him, I was like,
she said it back to me then about 4 weeks later.
I said to him, tell me something I don't know about you. And he was like, I love you.
You fucking knew it.
And I knew it. I knew it was coming. I knew he was trying to say it. But I was like, I just gave him a little nudge. So
I turned into Hunter.
Oh. But yeah, so that was lovely. Gorgeous. And then we were going out for what we like to do on our anniversaries and birthdays. We like to go for
breakfast.
A really smart breakfast, go all out and have a Mackie D's breakfast.
McDonald's.
So it was all going swimmingly until we got out to the cars. There was 2 cars going to go because I needed to stay in town, and the Yaris wouldn't start. So I had to put Chloe back inside into the porch and go push the 05 Yaris up a hill because it hadn't roll started, and we wanted to give it another go.
And for context, I was about to leave at 2:00 that day and wasn't going to be back until
for 2
Saturday.
days.
So you you were going to be without a car for 2 fucking days.
So we tried to hill start.
It took the total shine off the Rod Stewart tickets and the Paris trip away in the Chloe bag. I'll be honest.
So we went. So car wouldn't start.
Maybe that's why I'm in a bad mood.
Maybe so. Then we went for our breakfast. Drove Connie back out. All rushed because I needed to go back into town and be in town for an appointment. And then the following day, you had arranged for the mechanic to come and see if he could get the car. So
shout out to Vast Motors in Mallow, Cullum inside there. In fairness, now I rang him and I was like, Cullum, I'm fucked, man. I have got to go to work, and we have no car. We've got kids that need to go to school, and
Saturday we needed it as well. We needed 2 cars on Saturday, big time. And
in fairness, he came out and
he jump started.
The battery had just. I'd say there must have been a light left on or a door not closed.
Well, it was that it wasn't used as well for 4 days because you were so laid up. We hadn't even thought about
Oh,
it. We
that's
need
right.
it. It needs to be.
And it's a 17-year-old car. It
Yeah.
needs to be started all the time.
Yeah.
To really.
So, but it meant that on my actual birthday, rather than, so mom was staying with us, and rather than, I had planned that we would go out for breakfast or something at least. I was on to Cullum he was coming out to do the car, got the car started, and he was showing me how to, turning it off, and he'll start, like, how to clutch start again, just in case it did go. And so he started it. I left it running for an hour. Then I went into Castletown Roach and got myself some buns and milk. Left the car running out in Castletown Roach. Then went to town.
No fear anyone would fucking steal it.
No.
Anyway. And it is insured for fire and theft.
Got jump leads in Mallow, and they were closed from 1 to 2. And went over to Vass and I said, if it turns off, I turned it off. And I said, if it starts, I'm going. And if it doesn't start, I'm at he was going to need it for like 3 hours if I was to leave it with them.
Yeah.
So I'd have been stuck in Mallow
for 3 hours.
For 3 hours with mom here with the boys.
But you know what? Another thing that we did, right? I don't know how fascinating this is now, but I'm enjoying this conversation. is we leaned on a next door neighbour.
Oh yeah, that is interesting. That is.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like it's something that we. I don't know. It's something that is lost in society now. Like,
well, it's lost
compared
to us, I think. Well,
I'm just looking at my own life. Right, when I was growing up, we knew all of our neighbours. We knew the Mansfields were next door to us. The Hagertys were next door to that. The Carneys were next door to that. The Vegans were down the road.
Yeah. And you moved into the village, like?
And we moved in. We knew the Moylans. We knew the O'Keefes, and they were on our. We knew them. And if and I know this is the old. If my mother needed a cup of sugar, she'd send me over. And I'd get it. So we literally needed someone to take Harvey to school.
But I think we've instigated that now.
Yeah.
And it was a long time. As in, we text our neighbours more so because Baxter the dog would be going over to them or whatnot, and she is sound. So, but we just hadn't gone to the next level.
Yeah.
And it actually, I was on Thursday or on Friday even when I wasn't sure.
We must get her a bottle of wine. Now drop down a bottle of wine.
Like I was. Sometimes I get a bit sorrowful that like I'm not in Waterville where you just have an array of people I could have contacted to take him to school and collect him from school, and you know there's siblings or there's friends or friends of siblings, you know, like that I would have had people that it wouldn't have been a big deal, like you know. But then it's interesting because we did obviously make that connection, and at one point you were like, we'll have to probably do that back now. And I said, yeah, but that's it. Like you build points, like you form, you have to, you can't just expect things.
But no man is an island.
Yeah.
Like, you know, except the Isle of Man, obviously, which is a joke that I have in my show. That's
great. Oh, that'll sell fucking tickets. Yeah.
Well, Noelle, I'll tell you now, you're very funny now, aren't you? You're nice and tough and hard. You go up there now and do an hour in the Everyman, see how you get on. See how many people laugh at your jokes.
If I have to tell jokes about the Isle of Man.
Well, that particular joke now, Noelle, has been complimented extremely to me, okay? Lots and lots of people come up to me. They form a single file and they're like, we thought you were great, but that joke about the Isle of Man is your best work yet, okay? You do a joke in the Isle of Man. Let's see how you go. Go on, off you go. Yeah, shove it up your hole.
But yeah, so that was Friday. Driving around, keeping the car alive. It has subsequently started. So you were gone till Friday night late.
Yeah.
And then on Saturday we had Harvey's birthday party. His birthday was obviously a few weeks ago, but he had a quadruple class party, and there's only 6 boys in his class. And 4 of them are pretty much within the same month. So, and last year we did them separate. And last year I instigated them being separate. Year before was COVID, so there wasn't parties. Last year,
do you know what was really cool when they were doing the happy birthday, when they were blowing out the candles? I was looking at the story again. All 4 of the boys were beside each other, and they all kind of blew. But like Harvey was actually the last to blow of them, right? But they were all happy out to share the moment. Yeah. Which I thought was a lovely thing.
Because that was one of the moments that I was worried about. So last year I purposely didn't even look to do a joint party because Harvey talks about his birthday from January. Like he's already thinking of his theme for
next year.
But so I was kind of
Halloween
worried.
and his birthday are the two big things for him.
I was worried about like having to kind of, as they say, put my stake in the ground and be like, well, this is what needs to happen.
Yeah.
Because last year he definitely needed it to be his way or the highway. And I compromise with him and we teach him on a lot of things that it can't be his way. He has to share. He has to do all this. But I feel for his birthday, I'm not going to.
I think
I'm
you're
not
right.
going to he loves it so much. I'm not going to try and have him compromising for it. But that was last year, and then this year there were so many. The 4 parties in and around Christmas time was just crazy. So I had to go with it really this year. It made a lot more sense. And but he did really well, even in the planning. Like even because like the cake wasn't. He's had years where he's had his Batman team, his Star Wars team, his Thing team. This was a football cake
And
that he had
I just
no
want to
choice
interject
about.
there really, really quickly because there are some new listeners to the podcast as well. Our son is autistic as well. Just so people are wondering, why are they going on about this? Well, like, so much. He has special needs. So one thing that he finds difficult is sharing. So, or
things going out, not going the way he had planned them in his head.
Exactly. So that's why that's why that was the worry this year. But go on anyway.
And then so some things we had to, like, I sent him off to school going, go talk to the lads now and see what you're going to do for your birthday. Like, and they had, originally it was 3 lads and they had 3 different ideas. And then it wasn't his idea, didn't come to the thing, but he came around to the Planet, which is where they had the party. But then once that was decided, that he was having it at the Planet, and then there was, like, we were very specific about the day we could do. We're last minute, of course, booking it, so the amount of availability was reduced.
The drama and booking it was
sure.
was
but it was just like,
you should have wrote it down and fucking sent it off as a script to Fair City, because it's definitely better than any episode of Fair City I've ever seen.
But it wasn't even, there was no, but you just want to make sure everyone is okay with when you've got 4 moms involved, and everyone was fine and it all went really well. But it's just, it's texting. You these are people that you don't normally text,
and it's
so you
also
want to keep it.
It's interesting. It's interesting because we were talking about, like, developing new relationships, like with our neighbour, for example, and like with these moms who are going to be in our life, and their dads, because they were at the party. All the dads came as well. They're going to be in our life for the next, like, for as long as Harv is involved in GA,
and especially national school.
National school. So he's like first class, so he's going to be there. They're going to be there for the next 6 or 7 years, probably longer, because we'll want Harvey to be involved with the GAN, Hunter to be involved with it, and involved in the community.
And it's the community vibe as well. So you don't want. It's different when you're texting your people who
and
know
we're blowins.
Yeah.
So it's really difficult. Like when you're a blow-in, like we literally we're not from this community, so it's kind of hard. It's like we're making friends ourselves.
Yeah. And you don't want to come across as wrong, or like, and like even one day there was one, like, so I had to change the time. I had the time wrong of what the party was, and I was like, well, it's changed, but it still suits, so we have to go with this time because this date suits. Is that okay? And you're like, you're like, it's just nerve-wracking waiting for a text back, and it's stupid.
Sorry, that doesn't suit. But no, everybody was cool. In fairness.
Yeah, and like, but it's not even. You don't even want. They might say it suits, but it's very forward, saying it's changed and this is the one we have to go with. Like, I hope that suits, but it all worked out really well. I think nobody dislikes me more than
nobody dislikes you. Jesus
no,
Christ.
but like it takes.
And if they did, they'd have to go to hospital, Noel, because you're perfect.
Thanks, I know. But so that was on Saturday, and there was little parts within that could have gone wrong as such. It was very funny though, because we invited the football team, boys, and a lot of those moms we don't know. We don't even know the kids really. The men, I know
most of the kids.
Yeah, you do, but you weren't greeting the people coming in. You were minding Hunter.
No.
Eamon was with his kids, so there was the women, the moms that were greeting.
Well,
we didn't even know
Hunter needed to be minded.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. You were doing bowling with him, which worked out really well. But like the moms were coming in, and they were literally looking to us, going, "Is this Harvey Hunter like party?" Yeah. It's like, oh yeah. And then it was like, so the funny thing was, before we go there, I'm Noelle. I'm Harvey's mom. You know, it was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
and then even giving, when people were coming to collect the kids,
Yeah.
like I just knew the faces. I'm desperate with names anyway.
Mm.
I just knew the faces and knew, do not let any child out the door. Keep them all in here.
Yeah.
How many have we? Grand. But when the parents were coming to collect their kids, I was like,
Uh-oh.
whose mother, who are you? Like, can you see your own there now somewhere?
Yeah, grab 'em.
And then the food had their names on them. So I was like trying to remember the names then when
from
the food.
from the food, is it?
Yeah,
From
because
the
the
signs on the
takeaway
food?
cartons had the name written on them.
Yeah.
But it was,
But you know what, Noel? It was fucking successful.
yeah.
It was a 7-year-old's, but like, I mean,
I know it sounds silly, but it was.
it was successful, and I think everybody fucking enjoyed it, and the kids enjoyed it.
So
and
then from that, because it's Christmas time, like so many people had other stuff, for other parties, other Santa
I
visits.
forgot about this. Yeah,
And we went to
the panto.
the panto. So I always knew we were going to be tight on time for the panto, and it turned out Mother was happy enough to come to the pantomime as well.
Mm.
So then I had my mom and I had the 2 kids heading off to the pantomime, but we did a lovely moment because you helped Mom walk in,
Yeah,
and the boys saw the excitement of the
that
boys
was-
watching the
that was a
senior
happy
poster.
accident.
Yeah,
Because like the town was mental chicken oriental, all right, and parking was really difficult. And the plan was that I was going to drop ye to the door of the Everyman, but you can't. Coburg Street now is one way, so you can't drive up Coburg Street. So you have to go. So to get down McCurtain Street is you can't go the traditional way like
the way
you
we
used
would
to.
have gone from coming from Mallow. Yeah.
So I drove up behind that lap dancing club in city limits, and across, what's the name of the fucking street up there by 96 FM, and I was like, I said to you, I'm just going to have to pull in now. At any time I see a space, I'm going to pull in, and ye hop straight out. And you were like, yeah, no bother. And I pulled in. I saw a space then, and I was like, oh yeah. And I, on the hazards, hopped out of the car, took Hunter out, brought him around to the side. You were helping your mom out. Harvey was able to get out himself. And then the next thing, I was like, right, are you good? And you were like, yeah. And it was all fucking mayhem because you were late.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I was like, right, okay, grand. Because I had to go into town. Then I wasn't going home or anything. I had to go into town to go over to the roundie to collect the check. And then I was going from there straight to Charleville. But anyway, whatever move I made as I was driving away, do you know, when you're walking, I just saw you, and you kind of gave a face, kind of like, ooh, I'm not sure about Mom. Just a face, a very quick face, and I was like, I can't drive on here. I have to help here. And I just put the car into a double yellow line, and I said, fuck it. And I went over, and I'm glad I did now, because your mum is old, like, and she was sick as well, and it was like,
She was tired, and
She
it
was
was
tired.
a steep hill. It's
very steep.
by the
York
flea
Hill.
market, or what the
Up, it's called York Hill. It's up York Street. It's up there where the LV is, at the bottom. You can drive up it from McCurtain Street. The flea market is up there as well, and it is very steep, very steep. But ye powered on, the 3V powered on, and me and Anne were taking our time going down. And when I got to the bottom of the hill, I thought she might still be there, and I was going to go back up to get the car, but she'd gone. So I said, fuck it, I may as well walk over and get you in, or get Anne into the Everyman. And then that's when that happened.
Harvey came running, because I knew that we knew the poster was up, and Harvey came running back out the door going, Dad, your poster's up here, you're massive up here, there's a big poster. So he was delighted with himself. So it was a nice thing.
And Hunter
for you
then
to
kind of got, it was lovely, it really was. And I was like, because, you know, at the start of the podcast, I was just like, I just think I'm stressed with everything that's going on. Like, I really am. Like, I think it's all just, there's like the show is like, it's on now very soon, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm so happy, like, tickets are flying for it. Thank you so much to everyone who's bought tickets, and it's going to be great.
Yeah,
I know it's going to be great.
The show isn't your worry at all. Like,
it's
the
actually
actual
not.
content of the show is.
But the show's written with maybe 3 months, like, you know, in its entirety, and I've just been like kind of honing it and sharpening it, and I think it's in a great place, and I really, really am looking forward to doing it. But it's my first national tour. And it's my first time ever being responsible for the whole family financially, and it's I just feel a lot of pressure, I suppose. And then little moment like that, just it was amazing,
especially after having the posters delayed because of the wrong date being on them.
Yeah. We had to reprint the posters, but we're learning. We're learning. We're either winning or learning. There's no. That's W, as Harvey calls everything a W now. But yeah, that was it. And then that's it. We're nearly fucking. That was it. Then we went to a family Christmas party yesterday. And that was also lovely. That was lovely because I got to celebrate my birthday there. Yeah, and you drank like it was 1999. The Prosecco dut flow, and we had the most funniest Santa Claus come to the birthday party yesterday. It was to the house yesterday. Pure Cork. He was like, "Come on in, boys and girls, how you doing? You're very good. What's your name? Harvey, is it? Oh, Harvey, I was only wrapping your presents before I left this morning, boy. Yeah. Don't worry, you're going to get everything you want. Don't worry at all about it." And it was lovely. We were at my sister's house and it was great. And now we're home and we're doing the podcast. Ready to head off into a new week? Are we doing a podcast more than once this week? So this week, guys, we're going to do a podcast every single day this week up to Friday. Tune in again tomorrow. I think we should do it tomorrow night, though. Should we? We can do one by night time or by daytime, but I just want them to come out every morning. Do you know what I mean? Like, well, then we'd have to do another one this evening if we wanted to do. Well, have it come out tomorrow. We could potentially do that. Yeah, let's see. We'll see. We might just leave the equipment set up and everything anyway, so that we don't have to. Because Coco's finished now for the year. Thanks to everybody who's come to Coco Club down through the last 12 months. It's been our busiest year yet. And shout out to all the residents who've helped build a dream. Dan Lucas, Harry Hussey, Ciara Barnes, Dave Horgan, even Aaron McCarthy and Ross O'Dea from early in the year, and James Surgeoner. They've all been massive and they've all helped. Thank you, Noel. You've really got stuck in. I'm in the Coco Club now. Oh, you're a Coco Clubonian now. And you've been stepping in massively there in the last 3 months. It's a real team effort now. It really is, like, and it's grown as a business as well. So it's exciting and it's fantastic. That's been going as well. Trying to keep that fucking going. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. There's a lot going on. I'm not getting enough credit, lads. There's no one fucking giving me any credit out there. All I'm doing is my jokes are being made fun of. The jokes that are actually paying for the electricity that's on here and for the batteries that are in this. We want to be turning it off there now. There's no point having a light on this early morning. Okay. All right. Good luck and thanks. Bye.
Love you. Bye.